looking at the details within the kata for Iaido, for Blue Belt, for Stampede Karate. So first we have our standing sword bow. We have our sword, it's on our left side. We raise it, we will bow first to Shomen and Sensei, and then to the sword. Passes in front of you, palms towards you. Take it with the left hand, taking the back of the sword, back of the saya, twisting it down so that the blade's facing down. And then we have Shomen knee. Eight. We have our less formal bow, where we can take the sword just at our right-sided attention, Sensei ni, eight. And then we have our bow to our sword, Tode. Sword comes straight up ahead, back of your hand here, held at shoulder width, raise it slightly and bow slightly. Comes back to our left side. We're going to take the sword in the right hand, drawing it forward, putting it into our belt if we're working with sword, saya, and obi. You have a sageo, dress that, putting it so that there's a loop here, goes behind and around the sword. First points within the sword work. Stance work. You should be able to show Niho Haba. We should see that within the kata, and you should know what Niho Haba is for your test. Niho Haba is our step. It's 2 steps width. So as we start the kata, we'll have a left hand step with the right. It's a small step. Then we'll have a slightly bigger step. And then we're going to be almost at Niho Haba engagement. This is our fighting distance. So Niho Haba should be 2 steps width. So I'm not fully there yet. I should have a right angle on my front knee, and then have this leg going straight down and a right angle here. So this is my distance once I'm within my Iaido kata. That is Niho Haba. Our feet are fairly close together. So in karate, we take a wide, deep stance like this. This is a more narrow stance. So if I put my heels together and my toes apart, if I pop these heels apart so my feet are straight, this is about the distance of our feet as we're doing this. My heel stays up in the back most of the time, unless I'm doing a cut that requires my body to be turned away. I've got this heel up. The heel has the feeling of not just being up, but pushing outward, like I'm trying to twist it away from my body here, which makes it straight. And that is the important points within stance and feet for bowing. And now for sword use. When we draw the sword, when we take the sword out of the saya, left hand, right hand, I'm going to draw at my target, and this hand right here is what moves the sword. I pick which direction the blade points as I draw it out. The right hand is not wrenching the sword within the saya. The left hand drives this. So we need to see you move the sword with the left hand. The right hand draws it out. And when we pull the saya away, this left hand pulls back and away so the sword is free. The sword accelerates and then just moves across with the arm. If we're cutting, sword goes overhead. We have an angle like this. And left hand should be right at the end of the sword handle here. So we don't want a bunch of sword sticking out. This goes for your jo use as well. We do not have a bunch here. We need to see you find the end of the handle, end of the weapon. And we have a little distance between our hands here. And when we cut, we're going to accelerate the sword, and then we're going to let it fall. So for practice, you up here, unicorn attack, fall. Back overhead, up, fall. Eventually, it becomes a single cut. You have to practice that. Lastly, actually two items, returning the sword. We pull back on the saya, push down, and I'm going to keep this elbow close to my body. It's not going to stick out here to get stabbed. Close to the body. My hand is on top of the saya here. When I put the sword down, the sword is actually sitting on my hand, not the saya. So I set it on my hand so I can feel this. I've pulled back and pushed down, and as I draw the sword away, this hand's going to pull the saya back. I'm going to feel that tip pass over, and now I can make the saya match the sword, and then the sword sitting within the saya, within the hole of the scabbard, and it just slides in as they go together. So that's our return. After we've cut, we have our chiburi, which is flinging the blood off the blade, powering down the energy, the tension of the fight. So we have o chiburi, which is a big opening. I've got my palm up. I bring it to my forehead almost like I'm saluting, and I'm going to squeeze the sword so it goes out and arcs, kind of the tip twisting away as I do this. Feet will come together. I'll change feet for my return. Second chiburi is yoko chiburi. It's almost like my left hand doesn't want to let go, and then I free it and it pops away. It's almost parallel to the ground here. I'm going to push the saya down and do the same return here. These are the main details within the blue belt kata. I will talk us through the kata so that you can then practice in the separate video that I do just for practice. Here we go. First kata, Junto Sono ichi, Yoi, Hajime. Left hand to the saya. Right foot steps out a little bit. Left foot takes a bigger step. Right hand sneaks under here to the handle. I'm going to draw out and turn the sword with my left hand so that I can cut across. So the blade is flat towards the ground. Take a step towards your target, pull back with the left hand, squeeze with the right so it accelerates, and then cuts through. Punch the saya to the center. Sword goes overhead. Left hand comes up here to meet the handle. I'm going to take a big step through. This is our Niho Haba. I'm going to accelerate, fall through with that cut. And then for Junto Sono ichi, we have ochiburi. Changing feet here. Note, doing our noto. Coming up, 5 steps back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second kata within blue belt is Junto Sono ni Yoi Hajime. Left hand, feet apart, right foot, left foot, right hand. Drawing out to the target, turning over with the left hand. Take a big step here, almost Niho Haba. I'm going to pull back the saya so the sword's free. Squeeze, cut across. Punch the saya to your center. Sword overhead. Left hand comes up here. Right foot comes here, about halfway along your left foot. I'm sorry, your left foot comes about halfway along your right foot. So my right foot's over here. I'm going to push out into a big step into my Niho Haba. Cut through. Yoko Chiburi. Noto. Coming up. 5 steps back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And goes down. Final kata within blue belt is Tsui Geki To. Tsui Geki To. Yoi Hajime. Left hand, right foot, left foot, right hand. I'm going to draw at the target. This target's his shoulder. I'm going to twist this foot out so my toes point this way, my heel's down. I draw at the left shoulder. My left hand twists it so it's at an angle, a slight angle rather than flat to the ground. Pointing at the shoulder, I step through, pull back with this, pull the saya off. We're going to cut through this target and it's going to come down here. Now as I punch the saya, I'm going to straighten that foot. Sword comes overhead. Left hand goes to the end of the handle. Feet come together and I'm going to push with my left foot into a men cut. Head just to the head. Back to furi kaburi. Another cut like that, cutting all the way through this time. Now I'm going to step back with the right foot. Jodan. Sword is overhead, pointed upward. Now I'm going to step back with the left. And then we're here. And then we're going to do Yoko Chiburi. Doing our noto. Sword on the hand. Pulling back. Return. And to the end of the kashira. Coming up. Right hand falls 5 small steps back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is all of the curriculum for your blue belt Iaido kata. And when we bow out, a standing bow, we finish with tore. Sensei ni, hey. We have shomen ni, hey. You're practicing with others. We bow and say thank you. Domo
ありがとうございました。